US closes airspace over Venezuela, warning pilots, traffickers and airlines. Carrier strike groups and air power deployed. Maduro accuses Washington of regime change. Civilians caught in the crossfire as the standoff escalates into a high-stakes regional confrontation. Washington has sharply escalated its confrontation with Caracas. Over the weekend, President Donald Trump declared that all airspace above and around Venezuela is now closed, a warning aimed at airlines, pilots, drug traffickers, and human trafficking networks.
To all airlines, pilots, drug dealers, and human traffickers, please consider the airspace above and surrounding Venezuela to be closed in its entirety. Thank you for your attention to this matter. President Donald J. Trump.
The move follows a prior alert from the US Federal Aviation Administration, cautioning carriers about heightened military activity and a deteriorating security environment over Venezuelan territory. Caracas responded by revoking operating rights for 6 major international airlines, citing suspended routes and US warnings. The closure signals a potential halt to civilian flights, disruption of trade, and increased risk for any aircraft entering Venezuelan airspace. Airlines now face routing chaos, higher fuel costs, and legal uncertainty. The airspace closure appears intended to pressure Nicolás Maduro's government, disrupt alleged drug and human trafficking networks, and demonstrate US military reach in the region. Experts suggest it also serves as a strategic message to Venezuela's allies, including Iran and Russia, that Washington is prepared to escalate if necessary. The closure comes amid Washington's broader campaign targeting alleged narcotics networks. Over 20 US strikes have reportedly hit vessels in the Caribbean and Eastern Pacific, causing at least 80 deaths, many of them local fishermen. Legal experts and Latin American governments have questioned the legality and proportionality of US operations, noting that little public evidence links the targeted vessels to drug trafficking, raising concerns about civilian casualties and the risk of a wider regional crisis. Earlier, President Trump signaled a new phase in the campaign during a Thanksgiving address to US personnel, stating that the United States will begin confronting Venezuelan drug trafficking routes on land. He praised US forces for what he described as progress at sea and said ground operations would follow. His message, delivered alongside references to US air power, underscored the administration's intent to widen its approach beyond maritime interdictions.
All of you are backbone of America, and you really are the backbone of America's air power. And in recent weeks, you've been working to deter Venezuelan drug traffickers, of which there are many. Of course, there aren't too many coming in by sea anymore, if you probably noticed that. From sending their poisons into the United States, where they kill hundreds of thousands of people a year. But we're going to take care of that situation. We're already doing a lot. We've almost stopped. It's about 85% stopped by sea. You probably noticed that. People aren't wanting to be delivering by sea.
Caracas has dismissed Washington's allegations, arguing that the United States is using drug trafficking as a pretext to justify military pressure. President Nicolás Maduro, speaking in a televised address, said Venezuela has faced sustained threats for months and accused foreign powers of seeking to destabilize the region. He insisted that Venezuelans remain prepared to defend national sovereignty and accused the United States of attempting to manufacture a crisis to pursue regime change. As US deployments expand, from an aircraft carrier group to stealth fighters and thousands of personnel, the dispute has moved beyond narcotics enforcement into a broader political confrontation. With both governments holding firm to sharply different narratives, the trajectory of the standoff now hinges on whether Washington's pressure campaign intensifies or shifts toward a new phase of diplomacy.